Hey, welcome back to Undermountain, our epic dungeon delving adventure here on Javelin Entertainment, where we stream the story every Thursday starting at 6 p.m. Central. And if you missed the last chapter, you can find it on the channel page or by clicking on the playlist link in the description. Last time, our adventurers left the city of Stormkuhldur and headed into the caverns towards Skullport. About halfway down on the way to Skullport, some Drow, led by a familiar figure, staged an ambush. The
And
leader
got fucked!
carved into Ari at the start of the attack, but Ari retaliated with a heavy smite. Valcrie was able to incinerate one of the Drow after being hit from behind, and Ari was hit from a powerful shot that tore into his neck and shoulder, surging with poison. Zarn showed off a bit of his new confidence, killing the Drow leader by cutting his throat, and then went to defend Zannah, who had gone unconscious. Some Drow came to rescue the leader's body, but Elias summoned forth a spiritual weapon, which quickly finished him off as they were trying to retreat. Zella was trying to fend off a spider in the meantime, but eventually succumbed to its poison and began to be drug off, wrapped and entangled in web. Ari managed to chase down the spider and smote it down, revealing the web holding Zella. But even after some healing surged into her, Zella was still unable to move due to the paralysis poison. So after some investigation, the party decided to wait it off and let it fade. So they carried her as they continued back towards Skullport after finishing off the last of the Drow and spiders. Before leaving, Ari did find two sabers on the leader with a very distinct symbol that Valcrie was able to identify as some sort of symbology for a Drow house. When the party finally made it to Skullport, where everyone began to inquire about reasons that they could tell people for why they were there. In this discussion, Valcrie even revealed some of her own purposes, including the pseudonym of her patron, known as the Shadow. The party then made their way to a small pet store owned by a half-elf named Ulvira Snowveins. Elias was able to fully examine the sabers and determine their considerable qualities, and Ulvira told them that she could find a buyer for a 10% finder's fee. Ari asked Ulvira to join them for a drink first, and they headed towards the nearby bar, the Guts and Garters. There, Valcrie began to talk to the beautiful tiefling bartender, Quietude, and others quickly joined getting drinks and continuing on with the small talk. Valcrie asked some questions about some material, and Q suggested that they look into the Nightshade's Caress, a nearby alchemical shop. Q also asked Valcrie to come back and visit once she had the silver, but left the party to enjoy their drinks within the tavern. So, you all have neared what feels roughly about 3/4 of the way through your day as you drink and enjoy your time here within the city, surrounded by monstrous denizens. What would you all like to do?
Am I still a direwolf?
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. Then I'll just keep following Valcrie.
Is it supposed to all be black?
No.
I'm on the title screen still. I just see the Mad Mage. I just see a black screen.
Yeah, let me
See,
move you
Mage
guys.
disappeared. Yeah.
There we go. Now we in business.
I
Cool,
just
cool,
forgot to move you guys.
Zoom, zoom,
Excellent.
zoom. Zoom, zoom. Okay. They said we're about how far through our day?
Feels roughly about 3/4 of the way through your sleeping cycle.
Oh. So first we need to figure out where we're gonna stay, and then probably go shopping tomorrow.
Ari has an idea.
Work your magic then, Ari.
Oh, it's not an idea for you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying, pet store owners love nature, and Ari loves nature. It's just perfect.
Okay. That doesn't help the rest of us, though.
Well, the rest of you should max out your charisma.
Hey, Valcrie's charisma's just fine.
then you can do it too. See?
It's not about
Easy.
size. The size of the number doesn't matter.
Nor is it about the boobs. It's fine. But it might be a little bit.
I'm gonna try and get Valcrie's attention, see if she'll open up her psychic link thing.
She doesn't.
Yeah, Valcrie, you kind of get a tap on the shoulder from Elias, who seems to want to talk, but motions at the many people surrounding you.
Stop. Telepathically, of course.
Is the bartender potentially significant? Do you want us to give you some privacy? Do you want me to take everyone else out?
I cannot speak. Hold on, words. Breathe. Okay. She said to come back once I had materials. So.
Shopping.
Oh, yeah,
Alright, yeah. Let's
So
take
shopping.
you to get what you need. I will call out now to everybody like, hey, I think we need to go and take care of some business if you would all come on.
What kind of business?
There's
The fun kind.
The fun kind seems to be here with the drinks.
if you want to stay, that's fine. I think the rest of us will be back later then.
Alright, suit yourself.
I'm not about to deprive a boy of his first kiss.
Wow, hold on.
Austin, is there a way to know or deduce how expensive the top tier drink that Q made Valcrie is? Whether from watching how much other patrons are paying for theirs, or... And I mean, she knows it's the good stuff.
Roll me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
What?
You could probably ask Ari. He's an expert in alcohols.
Yeah, but she's a fucking bartender. Valcrie was a bartender, so you know.
That's fair.
That's
I
true,
tried.
but most of these, yeah.
But I've known some really hot bartenders that knew nothing about alcohol. So like,
My point being that she's not gonna ask him, probably. She'd just rely on her knowledge, which is apparently a 7.
Relying on your knowledge, you look and you can tell, like, this is a bar. And in bars, the more expensive stuff is typically placed up higher on the shelf. Usually the cheap, often used liqueurs are out and easy for access. So you understand that what she made you was more expensive, but looking at the bottles, the liquids, the fluids, none of it looks familiar. You're not even sure if this is an alcohol you've tried before. Most of these are colored in greens, purples, blues, all sorts of shades that look like as if they're mixed together. Some of them have things floating inside of them. You swear you even see an eyeball in one of the bottles. And nothing looks even remotely familiar, and nothing has a label on it that you can read.
Nice.
Okay, well, I think she's gonna leave 2 gold pieces on the counter, shoot a wink as she gets up to go meet up with the group by the door. If I can go through the door. There.
Alright.
Hold the door.
No.
Alright, so Elias, Zella, and Zannah all meet outside, and Valcrie, you leave the coins on, give a wink to the bartender, who kind of gives you a smile and a nod as you head out. Leaving for now, just Ari and Uvira at the bar with the other patrons. So, I guess, are the four of you headed to try and find this alchemist shop?
Yeah, I believe that's the plan.
Alright.
Find the silver.
Ari, is there anything you're doing in the meantime?
How do we hit on the NPC, guys?
You said you got it, so you got
Nat 1 charisma roll.
Oh, that's definitely in the cards. 100%. But we have to set up, you know, the dramatic stage so that the Nat 1 hurts even more.
Compliment her quads.
Normally, here's the thing, right? Normally, Ari would start something stupid like a drinking contest, and then just, you know, if worst comes to worst, win by using lay on hands to not be drunk anymore, and do it again. Well, we kind of fought a lot today, so that's not a great strategy. But on the other hand, I'm not convinced that Ari would realize that it's not a great strategy.
Sounds to me like Ari's gonna do that strategy. Because,
let's roll a wisdom check to find out.
Get drunk and try and fuck the NPC.
Oh, no, he knows it's not a good strategy. Damn, he really fucking knows. Damn, I needed that 20 for my charisma check. Oh well.
Shows me the charisma check.
Alright. Ari is going to ask Elvira about the pet business down here.
Is there something specific that you're saying? Or are you just asking, hey, so the pet business, how's that going?
So, yeah, he's gonna ask, like, how she ended up, you know, a full surface half-elf selling pets in Undermountain. Like, how do you end up in that line of work?
Oh, to be honest, it was a series of unfortunate events. You see, I was never very good at business, and so up on the top, they require certain legal matters I wasn't quite fond of. I decided to... lots of paperwork, you have to sign up with the government, get the Lord's approval, all sorts of just obnoxious things that I wasn't interested in. So instead, I decided to sign on with a few adventures and try my luck at, venturing into Undermountain, just like yourself. I can't say that my companions were as capable as I had hoped, and quickly found that I was but the only one left. So I made my way the short distance here to Skullport, and with the few companions that I had left, mainly the familiars that were remaining from my recently departed adventurers. I found that once I got to Skullport that many people hadn't seen or had access to creatures like this. Some longed for the pleasantries of the overworld. Some just preferred to have a companion that would be able to be trained and follow them around. Apparently, many of the monsters that call this place home have not had that sort of idea. Typically, their only pets are things that are just as likely to bite their arms off. And some purchase them to ingest.
Well, it's a good thing your frogs didn't know that.
I try to give it to a proper home that will either care for it very well or give it a swift end. Depending on the pet, of course.
Sorry, eating.
And what
Ari
about
can
you?
Ari can be eating too.
What brings you down to this place?
Well, it's a slow season for the ships right now, and I I knew some lads that were trying to make a trip, and just had this nagging feeling. This is gonna sound weird, but sometimes the ocean talks to me, and usually it's calling me towards it, but it was pushing me to come down here, and I'm not properly sure why. But no harm getting rich while I wait to find out.
I suppose so. Perhaps it's the river. The Great Bay flows into the Sargoth, after all. It's not too far away from where we are here. Have you taken a trip down to the river?
Not well. We walked in along a little river that brought us here, but I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
There's really only one river that I'm aware of. The Sargoth flows from within the 3rd level of Undermountain, down, wrapping around Skullport Island, and then continuing on through the various locks that provide the entrance before flowing out into the bay and the larger Carnathi River.
So, what's the main business of Skullport then?
The main business. Like any other port, it is trade, but the trade that typically transpires is more one of flesh. Typically,
I don't think you're talking about fish flesh right now.
No. Typically, this is an area where people are hired for less than savory positions. Whether it be ones that are performed on your back or ones that are performed with a blade.
So, are you planning to stay down here? Are you trying to get back to the surface at some point?
To be honest, I haven't the slightest clue. I figured I'd just go wherever I'm entertained.
What do you find entertaining?
Well, right now I find you quite entertaining.
Ari blushes very slightly. Almost imperceptibly, because of his, dark olive skin, but, someone who knew him well would be able to tell.
You know,
Sorry, go ahead.
In Skullport, you're going to have to learn to be a bit more upfront with your intentions. Subtlety doesn't quite work here. She just kind of takes your hand, grabs another drink, and then begins to just walk out with you. Unless
okay,
you have
no objection. Carry on.
In the meantime, the rest of you begin to traverse across the city of Skullport, across the lower levels, finding a nearby staircase that leads up to what are essentially gangplanks that have been combined to slowly form this lattice-like structure across the rooftops of the lower level, and then they've just built on top of it. And so some buildings extend up 2 or 3 stories, but most are just hastily made 1-story buildings on this makeshift 2nd and 3rd level. And you continue up from the lower level through the middle level and onto the top along the west side of the city. Following the directions that Quietude had given to Valcrie, you eventually find this small shop on the west side of the upper level. And you can see what looks to be a cup with 3 lines representing perhaps an aroma arising off of it, and then a skull and crossbones across the top, and in a curved script below, Nightshade's Caress.
Okay.
Is anyone going inside?
No.
Yeah,
So
let's
we're
do
at
it.
the shop. Cool. Yeah. going in.
All right. Valcrie and Elias, you push open the doorway, and as you come inside, you see displayed in the window of the shop are various herbs, elixirs, vials, and baskets of medicinal fungi. The store is cluttered with more such goods, all labeled and clearly priced. And behind the counter sits, working with a mortar and pestle, a visage of something truly unusual. This entity, what looks to be a woman, is wrapped in dark gray skin with loosely fit gray clothing. Her hair, for lack of a better term, hangs down in wispy strands along a skeletal featured face, and what almost looks like a spine just extends out of the back of her braided hair. Her sullen eyes turn to look at you as you both enter. Hello. Welcome to Nightshade's Caress. Can I help you this evening?
Yes, I actually was wondering if you had a few items, perhaps, that I could purchase.
I always have items for purchase. You're looking for something particular, yes?
I am.
What did you come inquiring for?
Primarily some silver powder.
Is there anything else?
If you happen to have excess oils or something combustible, perhaps. I would also like to look at that as well.
For oils, I would head across 3 buildings to the west. You can find Gareth at the overflowing urn has quite a bit of flasks or casks of oil and pitch. But the silver powder I can provide. How much are you looking to acquire?
As a side note, Austin, I noticed in my inventory, I do indeed have a flask of lamp oil. I was wondering if she would be intelligent enough to know how much she would need to use for one of the ceremonies.
Not much. A flask would be way more than adequate. All you need is enough to dampen the silver enough to light.
Cool. Okay. How much for let me see. She kind of starts trying to count on her fingers. Could I have about 6 gold pieces worth of powder? We do take gold down here, yes?
No.
Yes, we do. There are still enough of the old traders. Gold should be adequate. 6
As
pieces,
you see.
yes?
Yes. As you see, I'm not quite from this plane, so it's hard to tell what everyone wants these days. And she'll kind of pull out her 6 pieces of gold.
I do suppose the Hellspawn tend to use other methods of payment. She will hand over the gold coins. You feel as just the skin, almost like sandpaper, grazes your hand as she takes the coin and tucks them out of sight. She moves to one of her tables, and you can see her grab what look to be small nuggets and places them into a small bowl and just begins to grind and twist with her hands. And she looks incredibly small and frail, but you kind of sit there, and it takes a moment to dawn that she is literally grinding the silver into powder in front of you. And after
Pretty dope.
a few moments, she takes the bowl and begins to pour it, weighing it out on a small scale before sealing it into a small container and handing it over to you. there you are, my dear. And for
Thank
you, my knight in shining armor, is there anything that I can get for you?
I don't think I need anything specific. Right now we're getting all of her materials in order.
Well, should you find that you have any wounds to heal or wounds to inflict, and she grazes her hand across a few darker colored vials on the counter, please feel free to come back.
While they're talking, can Valcrie do a quick glance to see if there's... I guess just see what kind of wares in particular. If she can deduce, say, what type... Like if there's like a label on the damage potions or elixirs or what have you.
Sure, go ahead and roll me an intelligence check for this. Or a perception. Depending on what you're... They'll get you different things, depending on what you're trying to determine.
Well, intelligence is 3, perception is 2, so... Okay, I meant flat, but 14. A lot of 14s. Yeah.
Alright, let me see... Let me pull that up. There we go. Alright, so you see a few things. You see one vial with a deep red fluid that is listed as assassin's blood. You see quite a few green glass vials that are just collectively called out as Drow poisons. You see some sort of greenish blue viscous solid that is called crawler mucus. And then you see one small vial of purple, almost black liquid that is called midnight tears.
Before we go, what does that midnight tears do? I'm intrigued.
She smiles. This, my dear, is an ingested poison. Any creature that ingests it suffers no effect at all. No taste, no smell, until the stroke of midnight, at which point the poison, if it has not been neutralized before then, courses through the creature's veins, doing massive damage to internal structures.
I'll need to think about that one. Very neat.
Indeed. Should you be interested, the price is as noted at 1,500 gold pieces.
Understood.
Or a proper trade, of course.
Of course. I appreciate your time.
Indeed. You two, please do have a wonderful night.
You as well. And she'll slip out.
And Elias, you
Excellent.
following?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so what else do we need?
And then this is where Valkrie's just gonna... Oh, look, I have oil. I guess I don't need to go talk to the guy.
Excellent.
Since, you know. Excellent indeed.
So is that all the pieces then?
It is.
Do you want me to keep everyone else busy while you go do your thing?
Should we secure a living situation for the night before we do that? It is close, after all.
I imagine we're probably going to stay at that tavern.
Were there rooms in the tavern? It looked kind of small.
The tavern itself was small on the bottom floor, but there was an upper floor that might have some small rooms, but you didn't ask.
Right. Perhaps if you guys would want more to drink, I could figure out what is possibly available there, and maybe even get a deal. The tiefling discount, you know.
Yeah. Go ahead and take care of your business first, and we'll figure out from there. If
Certainly.
that works. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Guess we're going back to the tavern.
I think the rest of us might explore a little bit.
Well, then she's gonna say, and you're speaking to your mind. Be watchful and be safe. Remember, you stick out like a sore thumb.
I know, but we don't want to disturb you. Do you have any idea how long this will take?
At least 10 minutes.
We'll be back in an hour. Take all the time you need.
All right.
And yeah, I will keep everybody else busy and prevent them from having to ask awkward questions as to what the creepy warlock's doing with the other creepy tavern lady.
Okay, correction. Hot, creepy warlock with hot tiefling lady.
Yeah,
They could be
creepy
doing
and
all
hot
sorts
are
of
not,
things.
yeah, creepy and hot are not mutually exclusive, hon.
I'm just saying.
I mean, there's all those memes, right? About like, what? Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm a little sweet and she's a little spicy. Like it works. Pink and red.
Together you make one absolutely delicious dish.
Mm-hmm. And pretty good on her own. I digress.
Yeah, you go do your unsettling ritual, and I will
Unsettling ritual.
I will try and stay out of trouble in the meantime, and Ari will go get laid. It'll be great.
It's not like there's
I mean-
a blood sacrifice or anything weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know about your cult.
It's not a cult.
See, that's the kind of thing that someone in a cult would say.
Yeah. Go get laid.
Doing my best.
All right, so as Valcrie, you kind of shirk off to go back towards the bar, and Elias, you begin to gather the others. Elias, you do notice as Zarn kind of bootlick, Zannah and Zella are all nearby, but Zarn, you see him just come out of the shop doors before he joins up with you.
Find anything interesting?
Oh, I just wanted to take a look. I was curious what was in there, I suppose. Are
I
we headed
see.
off?
I think so. Is there anywhere in particular you would like to go?
This is my first time in the city, if you can even call it that. This is my first time in this place. I'm not sure what is here and where it's safe to go, but I'll follow beside you. You seem to be able to handle yourself.
Alright. Can I take a roll and see if I feel like he's being truthful?
Sure, give me an insight. You can definitely see something off about him. He seems to be trying to be not deceitful, but withholding some sort of information. Specifically about when you asked if he found anything, he definitely eluded answering that question. And you also see that he may have more knowledge about this place than he's letting on.
Okay. I'm not gonna challenge him over that or press anything. I'll raise an eyebrow though. Like, just okay.
All right.
just in case he wants to divulge any more information. That I kind of understand what's going on. And we'll head out.
Is there anywhere in particular that you would like to try and explore? Or anything that you were looking for?
Have I heard any mention of anything old or any keepers of old or interesting items?
Roll me a history check. So you haven't been within the city too long. You've been around archaeological circles, and not many archaeologists are willing to go down into Undermountain due to the danger. Most archaeologists are not too equipped for such a task. And so there's really not too many things that you know from there, and unfortunately you weren't around the tavern long enough to catch any hints of what was much further than maybe the first couple levels. So you're not familiar with the layout of Skullport, but you can certainly walk around and look for signs, or try and get a vantage point.
I would love to wander about and see if I see any sign that catches my eye.
Alright. Yeah, you begin to do a bit of wandering, as you've got plenty of time to kill. And again, Skullport is made up of 3 distinct levels that are kind of deteriorated and haphazard. These tightly packed buildings of wood and stone that are just piled atop, one on top of another, creating these levels. There are just various thoroughfares that wind through this town at all 3 of these levels, creating this almost labyrinth-like maze of catwalks that are just all wood from old shipwrecks with rigging used to suspend them, and they creak as you pass along them. The chamber itself rises up to about 90 feet, arching overhead with large stalactites that reach down, and from up on the top level you can actually look out and you see these about a dozen of these bright lights just burning above the river nearby. And you can see the large structure of the island, which almost looks to have a fortress on it. And you can see multiple lights burning there as well, not too far away. A few smaller light sources can be seen within the city. You probably people walking by the light by torchlight, but most of what you would typically see in a city, as far as illumination goes, is just gone. There's no sort of street lights or anything like that, and so it's difficult to kind of get a good broad sense, but certain things are illuminated, and from your position here, looking across this almost ravine that seems to separate the top levels, or the top level from the west and the east, you can actually see what looks to be a bit of light over this massive maw. This eyeless creature just sticks out of the stone with large teeth encircling a huge mouth that just hovers there, and there seems to be some sort of sign. Also nearby, you can see 2 other signs, one for something known as Dumathoin's Jest, which seems to have some sort of diamond shape or gemstone shape on the sign, and then the other one being the Overflowing Urn, which has a small little lantern.
Oh. Was that one of the names of the taverns when people were mentioning taverns?
No, neither of those are taverns that you're aware of.
I would like to go explore the Overflowing Urn. That sounds interesting.
Alright.
And I would like to take the group, because splitting the group into more than 3 seems dangerous.
No, I'm sure y'all will be fine without a paladin to hoist you through combat encounters. Go for it.
Alright, let me reveal some areas.
I think I posted a meme on the main.
Tank goes off on his own with no DPS left. Both DPS have already, taken off. One of them's doing weird magics, the other is getting laid. Like, nothing could go wrong.
What could?
Yeah, I'm sure y'all do fine.
You'll find me 20 minutes later in the fight still doing 3 damage a turn. Like, they can't kill me, but I can't kill them either.
Those are the most fun encounters. the war of attrition.
Alright, and Elias, as you kind of enter this, it's not very hard to get everyone to follow. Bootlick doesn't leave your side, as he is terrified to be outside of nearby light. Zannah still carries the unconscious form of Zella around on her back.
DPS is still unconscious. What?
Yeah, she is. And Zarn kind of stays close as well, and so you kind of guide them all to this shop, the Overflowing Urn.
I'm sure it's nothing a good night of sleep won't fix.
This store rests atop another structure that is sort of crumbling with age, and so as a result, the entire building tilts slightly. But inside, you find a man with some large tables and some large vats, and then multiple casks that are labeled between pitch and oil, and a few lanterns burning inside. The man kind of looks up to you as you enter.
Hello, my name's Gareth. You here for some light lantern oil? I don't recognize your face. Are you new in these spots?
Yeah, I got in here, this afternoon, actually.
I see.
I can typically make my own light, but, I do potentially have a couple questions if you don't mind, and, I pay for information as well as oil.
I can do my best for a bit of coin. Or trade, of course.
I'll hand him over a piece of silver as a gesture of just goodwill to begin with, and ask a first question. All right, so I'm a scholar. I'm an archaeologist, and I've been searching for some items down here. Do you know anyone who deals in the very old or the very weird? Specifically in runes, if such a thing exists down in this town.
Kind of thinks for a moment. Well, I know that the weirdest person I can see is Nightshade, who runs the apothecary, but I think she mainly deals with alchemical ingredients. If you're looking for other weird things, there's a pawn shop. I think it's down on the lower levels, perhaps? I don't remember, something a bit lower than here. Run by some gnome. But they usually have things come through all the time from different travelers, or the occasional merchant that manages to make its way down here, or just kind of looking through scrap. Now that you mention it, though, there are a couple mages that I've seen around town. I don't know where they live, but I've seen a few of them walking with their staffs, and they seem to be emanating light. I don't know if they would know runes, but they might be a good start. There was one, looked kind of like an elf, had pointy ears, but had a beard. I haven't ever seen an elf with a beard before. Long and white. Hair's kind of shaved on the sides of his head. Hair pulled back into a few braids. What do they call them things? Dreadlocks. Kind of dreadlocky sort of thing going on. Got a staff, like mage cloaks and such. Something like that. And then there's another one. Big fella. Yeah, one of them. You ever heard the stories of the half dragon people?
Yeah.
I never did believe in any of them myself, but I swear I did see one here. Walking around, got some sort of I don't know, like reddish scales on him, I think. Usually goes around cloaked. I think I saw him towards the east side of the city near that big mansion.
Who lives in that mansion?
I don't know. I try to keep my business to myself. There's not too many people, not too many humans that on a certain type of breed that make it down here, so I tend to look at my shoes, if you know what I mean.
I understand exactly. Thank you for all your help, and I will hand him another silver coin.
Of course. Thank you, sir. You all have a pleasant evening.
You
find
too.
your lights run out, you come back here and I'll get you set up.
Of course, we appreciate it. And I think we'll make our way towards that pawn shop if his directions gave us any inclination of how to get there. Somewhere down and over to the side.
Yeah,
Like,
his directions are certainly not the best, but you are able to very quickly find this pawn shop, as it seems that other patrons, not many are exactly excited to talk with you, but eventually you do find kind of a few who give you rough enough directions that you begin to meander and find your way over to where this pawn shop is at, down on the street level, over on the west side of town, walking past what looks like it might have been a town center at one point. There's a well in the middle, but it's just absolutely covered in trash and refuse. But as you weave your way down over towards that direction, you do find a small shop on the top of it is just in large, what almost appear to be illuminated letters, just magically glowing these.
I think you've cut out Austin. Can you hear me? Austin? Can the rest of you hear me by chance?
I can hear you, but I also cannot hear Austin.
Yeah, Austin's gone.
F in chat for our boy Austin.
We
Gone but
lost
not
our
forgotten.
Austin.
I will take this opportunity to make memes, never fear.
I think we get a level for that.
Yeah, it sounds like we leveled up. I'm pretty sure that's what Austin said right before he cut out.
So what, we're like level 7 now?
Yeah. That's the only explanation.
It seems reasonable to me.
We still don't hear you if you hear us, Austin. I'm about to at you in one of the...
All right. Well, we will try and hopefully. It looks like I'm coming through back on this one, so we'll try this audio, and hopefully it doesn't have any other issues for today, and then I'll try and figure that out for next week. But where were we? So, what was the last thing that you guys were able to hear? Did you hear? I think you guys
So
left
basically,
the
they were
oil
trying
shop.
to go to the they were trying to go on to the new shop, the antique shrug. I don't know.
pawn
The other
shop,
store.
yeah.
Yeah, the pawn
shop. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it takes you guys a little bit to find basically a descriptions of where this thing is at, because his directions were certainly not the best. But you eventually do find this small little building where there is these bright lit words that don't seem to have any sort of like torch. It appears to be something either likely magical, but certainly something you all are fairly unfamiliar with. But it is a small little shop, and upon moving in, yeah, I did move you guys there. Let me add your vision. Okay. So yeah, Elias, as you do enter this, you see a small shop with various things scattered across the different shelves. And Bootlick and Zarn also begin to kind of come in and just wander, looking at all the various things on the shelf. And Zannah, even from the doorway, just kind of peeks her wolf head in and takes a look around at the different things. And you're greeted as you enter by a very small, dark-skinned, gnomish woman with bright red hair, who kind of sits on a desk in the back, sewing something together. Oh, come in, come in. Welcome to Thimblewines. Please look around. Let me know if I can help you find anything.
Sure. Good afternoon. Thank you. And let's take a look and see what's out and about? What is publicly presented first?
Yeah, so it seems that most of these things are reusable goods, things that typical adventurers would use, like backpacks, ropes, rations, many of the things that you guys carry on yourselves. A few weapons here and there, but nothing major. There are some items that are a bit unusual. You see a few traps in here, a grappling hook, you see a spyglass, some interesting things like that. You also see some that are just odd, not really so much items of value, but more just intricate trinkets of different colors and various, not even uses. A lot of these things you see like crystal balls or small bells, some old insignias that look like they were used from some sort of legion or battalion from some old war. You see some cards, you see glass orbs, just various knickknacks and baubles of all different kinds.
Okay. Is there any indication that any of these items might be older or more valuable than presented by chance? Is there just an off chance that the shopkeeper didn't know what they had for any of these things out?
Roll me an intelligence check, or you can use your archaeologist tools if you would like.
I would love to. I would love to assess like that if possible.
Yeah, go for it. Oh my goodness. So you begin to look across, and you certainly do see things that could have value, but you're not familiar enough with these items. They're not old. They're not like ancient or anything like that. Most of these things are probably scavenged from people who don't make it out, or for people who have to bargain for essentials to live. But you do see some things that could have some innate value, should you be able to find the right person. You see one thing that is a small sketch, a portrait of a goblin, that is a very accurate reproduction. You also see what looks to be a large glass orb moving around with this black and blue smoke inside. It's reminiscent of things that you might see like a soothsayer or magician use, so there could be some value in that. But as far as like finding something that has any like ancient or historical value, you don't see anything in here like that.
All right. Let me consider what I want to ask and how I want to approach this while you talk with one of the other groups of people doing things.
Okay.
That I have a feeling that there's something important about this shop, but I don't want to bumble it.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Briefly, are you happy to spend the evening with Ulvira?
Yep, we're having a great time.
That you are indeed. All right. So then, Valcrie.
And anyway, this is an economic choice too, because we're really helping the party save money. Ari is nothing if not altruistic.
Truly.
If you say so.
Alright, so Valcrie, you are headed back down towards the bar. You make your way across the different streets and eventually come back. You kind of come across a few different individuals that are not the nicest. You get a few catcalls, but eventually making it back to the bar. And you see that the bartender is still hard at work there. though Ari is gone.
She'll just kind of nod her head and say, okay. And she'll take another spot at the bar if she can find one.
Yeah, you find another open seat. It's beginning to... actually, no. It's still pretty... it's only been a handful of minutes of you kind of exploring the town before you have made it back here. And so the place is still pretty filled. And it takes her only about maybe a minute or so before she comes and leans in front of you, putting her elbows on the counter and looking you dead in the eyes. Just... Oh, am I coming through robotic?
It was minorly.
Okay. It could be. This headset's definitely not the best, so let me know if you can't hear anything.
I understood enough.
Alrighty, but yeah, she leans her elbows onto the table in front of you and kind of looks you in the eyes. Well, good to see you back. What can I get you? Would you like another drink, or did you have something else in mind?
We'll start with the drink. It seems you're still a little busy.
Oh, we're always busy in here, honey. What kind of mood are you in?
Was that like a seductive honey or like a comforting old woman honey?
I don't know, Ari, you're not here.
Seems kind of like a mix of the two.
I'm asking as an audience member just to make sure that I'm appreciating Austin's acting correctly.
Okay, well, here, we can see how Valcrie perceives it.
That's true. But... Actually, that is more of a... How does Valcrie perceive it?
I don't know. It's an insight 19.
It's honestly a little bit of a mix of the two.
Oh.
I mean, we're hot. It's fine. I get it.
So it's a good night to be the high charisma party half.
Clearly. Okay, actually, I believe what you meant is it's a good night to be horny.
We said the same thing with different words.
I know, but mine's double funny because she got horns. Anyway. Let's go with something that is inquisitive, so different, interesting, but also refreshing. A new perspective, perhaps.
I've got just the thing. Give me just a moment. She moves back over and you see her reach for a few different bottles, one of a dark green liquid, the other of a blue, and then a smaller vial of something that is completely opaque in this black glass. And she begins to mix them together in a small goblet and slides it over to you, and there are wisps of gray smoke that come from a blue-green that almost looks like the sea.
Nope. Are these, again, relatively top-tier liquids, or are they a mix?
This one seems to be a little bit more of a mix, but she's certainly not giving you the same things that she's handing out to everyone else still.
Nice. Well, then once she has her drink, she will at least try it. Can't be rude.
You give it a sip and it is almost a little bit cold, though there's no sorts of ice or anything to keep it cool. But there's a bit of a chill as you drink it. And you sense this refreshment. It's almost the same feeling that you would get from something like mint, but a very, very different taste. The herbs are brighter and more vibrant and less kind of relaxing, almost as if drawing you towards something exciting rather than giving you a pleasant feeling of home.
I dig it. That was the goal.
You're just going to chill there and sip your drink, or is there anything else that you wanted to do?
She's actually gonna drink a little bit. She will drink about halfway through her glass. Just to, mentally prepare. And then, she'll flag her back over.
Yes.
I was told that once I came here, I was to find you.
Oh, is that so? I have some admirers out in the overworld.
Indeed. As well as back home. And, I was told that perhaps you might have some information for me.
Well, I've got lots of bits of information. Is this, something that you buy with silver, or was this something else that you had in mind?
Something that requires a secluded place.
Well, do you have, what you came here for?
I have the materials.
Then, if you're ready, I can go ahead and close up shop. Give it over to some nicer hands for the evening. We'll give a quick last call, and then we can head over to somewhere a bit more private.
And as she's closing up, she'll actually finish her drink. Her first drink. Good for her.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a constitution save at advantage.
Considering, like, all the other times she kind of just looked at it funny.
Actually,
intentionally fail it.
I lied, it's not at advantage, this one is just flat, because this is your first drink ever.
Wow. No, this is not gonna go well. I love these I love these low con people. Oh, that's not terrible. Okay.
Fine. See, imagine how well you'd make a constitution save if the homies were with you.
No, that would be frazzling. She's trying to have her tiefling time.
Her tiefling time. Tiefling time.
God damn it.
Alright. So, as you kind of sip through this drink, and it's strange, the goblet seems small, but as you continue to drink it, there's more in there than you at first thought. And it starts to slowly begin to give your head this kind of small bit of buzzing. Just this kind of vibration that you can feel at the edges of your skull, and this lift that you feel to your spirit, but you don't feel drastically different. And
so she's quite literally buzzed.
Quite literally.
All right.
You watch as Quietude calls out last call, and many of the patrons kind of groan, but all line up and are quickly served. And each of them go and find their tables. And she gives a nod to the two at the bar, and they kind of turn and take up not aggressive positions, but kind of defending positions that look like they'll keep everybody in line. And she comes and grabs you by the arm, hooks one under yours, and just begins to escort you out. She turns back and says, "Brandy, you stay there." And the hellhound just kind of plops back down where it was seated.
It's a good pupper.
And why can I not select anything? Oh, did my did my thing break? Okay, well, I might not be able to actually move you right now. I'm not sure why, but my you're still coming through. Huh, that's weird. Okay.
Apparently it's not your night.
Yeah, apparently things are just breaking all over the place. I don't know why that's being weird, but it is. Wow, that's like really messed up. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to try a quick reload on that. But she kind of takes you under the arm and escorts you out of the bar and up along the streets to the northern side. And you see that most of the buildings here are abandoned and closed, but she kind of holds out a torch as she guides you through the various streets, and there don't seem to be many people here at all. But you do find eventually that she leads you to this small building towards the northern end and begins to escort you up the stairway. And you head up towards the second level. And the back edge of this, she opens up a door and kind of gives you a wave to pass through.
I'll walk in.
Alright. You walk inside, and you do indeed find a small room. There's not much in here. There's certainly no sort of house that was here, but just a wide open chamber, maybe 20-30 feet long. And open in the center, you can see the boards have these very subtle, but to you noticeable dark lines across them. And you can see a few candles lit around, placed on the floor, these large red candles that softly burn. And somehow there's no one in here that you can see, but they still quietly burn in here. For how long, you're uncertain. You see that she has what looks to be a bowl of water in a large silver bowl filled with this clear water. Another one of wood filled with some ruby red petals. And then a few what look to be dark blankets. And she kind of takes one and picks one up and places it near the center of the room and kind of kneels down on her knees and kind of sits up and looks to you. Well, when you're ready, you can go ahead and get started.
Is it normal to do this on a blanket?
You've never really done it on a blanket, but you can see that it seems just to be something to kind of give a little bit of cushion to her legs. This is someone who just seems to be a little fancier than normal.
That's fair. So she'll start pulling out the silver powder and the flask of oil. And just while she's doing that, she'll explain everything. That my family, they sent me here for their own reasons, and I'm here for my own as well. They wanted me to find other worshippers. And you were the name. So
it's been a long time since I've been back home. I found myself enjoying these parts, I suppose.
I'm sure not much has changed. They're still quite the same.
No, not much ever really changed around there. That's kind of why I left.
And is indeed why I left as well. I think there's more than what they believe, and I wanted to see myself.
And you said your name was Valcrie? Is that right?
It's the name I'm using here.
Do you mind if I ask your true name?
Baltari, Incubor.
Valtari. Yes, I'm quite familiar with some of your family. You come
I'd
from
be
good
surprised
stuff?
if you haven't. Yeah.
Have you ever done one of these before?
Once or twice. I haven't needed it so much. Rather on my own, I should say.
You know, it was funny whenever they used to do these for us in, back home.
it was always these grand gestures with pillars of flame and immense power displays. But I never felt connected. But here, up on the surface, or as close to the surface as this gets, you can feel the whispers. The flame is smaller, but the voice, it's closer. I can tell you that much.
Interesting. I've always felt rather close to them. They seem to like me.
Have you done one of these since you've been on the surface?
I haven't.
Well, I think you'll be in for a bit of a surprise then.
We'll see. Until she'll start pouring out about 1 gold piece worth of silver. And then, what is that? Giving just a drop of the oil. You wouldn't have something of yours that you wouldn't mind getting a little burnt? I would like to know why I was asked to find you in particular. Besides the obvious, of course.
Well, I don't know all the answers until we hear the word spoke, but perhaps it's because I'm one of the few who shares a home with you. Certainly one of the few here. And even of the ones of us around, I'm not sure how many truly can call on him.
I assumed as much. I just would like to know what else they'd have me do while I'm here.
Then focus on that. If that's what you would like to be illuminated. Shadow in the Flame loves to give guidance on what you focus on. And I'll be here with you. She kind of reaches over and you see she grabs a small little incense burner with just a bit of a flame at the end that gives off a small wisp of smoke, and she kind of pushes it over to you. And then out from her belt she pulls a long curved dagger and sets it down.
So the real talk is, do you want me to try to butcher this pronunciation?
If you want, you can do the common.
Okay. At least I can, yeah. Okay. Otherwise it was gonna be like, okay, Bree, what are you saying?
If you want, I can do the infernal and you can do the common afterwards.
Ooh, like a translation.
Mm-hmm. You want to do that?
Yeah. Then I can see if what I was like practicing myself, that was like right.
Yeah, because she'll be speaking this with you.
Cool. Yeah, do that.
Alright, so as you kind of gather this silver powder and begin to spread it in a circle, both you and Quietude begin to softly gather nearby and focus on this quiet moment. The words begin to emanate from both of your mouths, and the silver begins to alight as you place the edge of the incense burner next to it. And as it burns, it reveals these circular sigils on the ground. And you begin to speak, Amar voy, Amar secret, Amar shokaljol, Amar akta, Amar vakti, Amar otokare, visvistakau, shukrapath, Agunar shakya tekebere esse, Amar kasha tomar alo. Bel Shalom.
I wasn't too far off. My fear, my secrets, my tears, my blood, my devotion. Show me the whispers in the dark, the path of the cycle. Come forth from the depths, shadow in the flame, and reveal your light to me.
And as you both finish, you run a hand down the edge of the blade, just dropping a single bit of blood onto the silver as it alights and runs around this circle. Sparks of light and energy begin to come forth, emanating out in your direction. In this small room, you now see it bright. And you can see as these sparks begin to show light, these shadows begin to form along the wall, wrapping and curving towards you. You find yourself looking around the room before focusing back at the center where that silver burns, and now those shadows have wrapped to form the edges of what almost looks to be a wispy face. The eyes burning brightly.
I see you, my child.
You can hear the whispers at the edge, almost like they're right behind your ear.
You search for guidance, and the shadow shall reveal. You were brought here.
Kind of bow our head to him.
You were brought here for purpose. One who is my own. One who I hold close. They are not far. The one who shares this moment with you has seen them forward, pushed them into the depths of this mountain fortress. And it will be these depths which you shall follow, to the graveyard of metal, where bone turns to steel. You will find great and powerful creatures, cast from the very bones of the earth and forged with metal, as reproductions unlike any other. You will find the Wormbreaker in these dark halls. The shadows around him will guide you to these constructs of steel and iron. The two of you will assist, will guide, will help protect, to ensure that my Prakutu may finish what he needs to do. This is a most deadly cause, but you have been provided with resources, others to help guide you. The shadows shall show the way. And with that, the wisps of the shadow rise out of the light as the last bit of silver powder burns into nothing. You look around as each of the sparkling bits of light fade back into nothing. You're left with a bit of red dust that sprinkles down on you as the lights on the ground fade back to the dull, blackened boards that you sit on. And Quietude turns to look at you. I get shivers every time. Feels like he's right there next to you, doesn't it? You ever heard his voice like that?
No, it's always been much softer, more like whispers. If anything, really.
Well,
That was the most direct.
Certainly sounds like we've got some work cut out for us. A graveyard of metal, I don't know what that could be, but I can certainly keep my eyes open and my ears open.
It sounds like you've led others deeper.
Yes, I have. There have been others who have sought me out before you, and I try the
my best to guide them on their journeys, wherever that may lead them. And there was one who came through before you, a few weeks ago at most. I knew him before he even introduced himself, but he was... Have you heard the legends of the Wormbreaker? The one who rends dragons from the sky?
Has she?
You've been told since birth about the greatest of the Shadow Servants, known as Durastorin, the Wormbreaker. And...
You spell that?
yeah. And you are under the guidance that should you ever even hear about him being nearby, or by proxy get a task from him, that it was of the highest of orders, and that you should obey their instructions without question.
And then would that be... I forgot the term you used, but basically like the protege, the right hand, so to speak, that they were talking about?
Yes, they called him the Skullport.
Yeah. I was like, that sounds like gibberish. So that sounds like something important.
Yes, this would have been the term that your family would have used to describe him as well. But this in Infernal roughly translates to speaker.
Yeah.
Of the house?
More or less.
Also an infernal?
Hey. Just taking those notes.
Well, are you going to be in Skullport for some time, or do you have another place that you're staying in Undermountain? Have you found any allies?
What you've seen is what I have. I met them up above. They seem nice enough. But they really follow some strange deities.
And what deities are those?
Let's see how well she paid attention. I mean, she's really smart. She probably paid attention a lot better than I did. Let me see. I have lots of things on my notes. Hold on.
And you can tell that there's almost a bit of incredulousness that she kind of cocks and is kind of like, what deities could they possibly have compared to what we just saw?
Right. So I didn't see. I have the note for Glira. Let me see. I have the important stuff.
I guess for context, because you probably would, Valcrie would probably remember.
Yeah, she's pretty smart. So the sovereign host was Elias's, right? Was there a particular one?
Elias does have some kind of loose connections with the sovereign host. You're not familiar specifically. He referenced to the Three Faces of War, which you're not familiar with, but you kind of pulled it back to something that you've heard people talk of, which is the sovereign host, which is the most common religion throughout all of the known nations.
Gotcha. Well, that's probably how she'll describe it, just to try to make it as layman terms as possible.
Oh, the host wished they had the power of our Lord. It'll be interesting when the time comes, don't you think? To put all of this on display.
Fuck.
Well, Do you all have places to stay? I don't have any rooms in the inn open, but there's plenty of buildings, and I can show you which ones are safe to put up a bedroll in if you need it.
No room in the inn, but they have a manger.
Uh,
It's a Christmas themed adventure.
oh my gosh.
I made a funny.
Except there's no baby on the
welcome.
way, I hope.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, actually. I was wondering if you knew of a good place. We really only just got to town, but a couple hours ago.
Yes, I can certainly help you find one of the buildings that'll be safe. I can even put a few friendly eyes nearby to make sure nobody bothers you.
That would be lovely.
Are you staying within the Skullport for some time, or you still have a work to do within the mountain elsewhere?
I'm sure the group I'm with will want to keep going, but who knows? It sounds like the sailor might have gotten lucky.
I did see Elvira pull that poor boy out. He's in for an interesting time, I'm sure. But Elvira doesn't get many of those of tender skin to come through here, so she usually takes advantage where she can.
In which case, I'm not sure if that'll encourage him to stick around a bit longer. I'm not in a huge hurry.
Well, you're always welcome at the tavern. I'll let you know if any rooms open up, but if not, I'll keep my eyes open for mention of this graveyard and see if I can get any of my contacts to let me know which way the Wormbreaker went. Regardless, there's really only one direction, and that's down, so eventually, should I hear anything, I'll let you know with a sending spell, and then I can meet up with you. We can make our way that direction.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Should we head back to the Elias then?
Indeed, I believe that they were planning on meeting me back at your tavern, so...
I'm sure all my patrons will enjoy a nightcap. She smiles and kind of offers you a hand up.
Take it.
She begins to wrap her arm around yours once again and escorts you back towards the tavern. And as this had been happening, Elias, you had kind of walked over to the gnome at the pawn shop and inquired, told her your name and that you were looking for old and stranger items, anything with runes or anything that had translation. And she kind of thinks for a minute. You know, that's a bit of a funny request. I can't say that I've had too many runes come through. I had a diary written in a language that I didn't understand. If you're interested in that kind of a translation, at least I think it's a diary. It's a little notebook that somebody would have written in. As far as other like carvings or things, there's this old it's like a piece of black like metal or like a rock. It's got like a fancy carving in it. It's kind of like angular. I don't know if it's a letter that I don't know, but it could be something that you're looking at. I think those are the only two things I've got that had any kind of language on them, though. But I can keep an eye out. Oh, there was a silver spoon that I had that had an M on it. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
I don't often eat soup. I think I'm alright on that one. I am, however, potentially interested in this diary. May I see it?
Certainly. Just give me a second. She hops off onto her feet and she walks around, kind of in between Zarn and Bootlick, who are comparing different items, and kind of reaches in, pulls out a small black book, and kind of wanders over and hands it over to you. It's not terribly large, maybe only a few inches, the page is relatively small and definitely worn with age. And you kind of flip through it, and the characters on these pages are not familiar to you. The languages that you know offhand don't seem to come to mind. But you see that it's about 3/4 of the way filled and written in a very beautiful handwriting.
Where did you acquire this?
Well, I got a box of a bunch of stuff from one of the adventurers who had been into the dungeon. That's what we call the Undermountain. It's kind of a dungeon, you know. Oh, you're an adventurer. I'm sure you know what it means. Well, he came back with some of his loot, some of his treasure, and was looking to try and get some bread or some rations or something, because I guess he was hungry, must have eaten all he had, and was out of money, so he traded in a bunch of things. I can show you the other stuff that he brought if you want to.
Sure, let's take a look.
Alright, let me see. And she kind of flips through on the book of her own and kind of looks up. Alright, so we have, let's see, journal with untranslatable language, knucklebone dice with skull symbols instead of pips, small idol depicting nightmarish creature. Gave me some unsettling dreams when I looked at it. Let's see what else. There was a deed for a parcel of land somewhere in. Let's see, what was this? Somewhere in the Elden Reaches, something like that. And then he also had that, and she points over to a glass jar containing what looks to be a bit of flesh floating in some sort of fluid. I didn't know what to call that, so I just said jar of weird stuff.
I see. What did this fellow look like?
Let's see. She kind of thinks for a moment, going over. He came in with a couple first, but then he was the only one to come back around. So I'm not sure if they ever made it back. I think he went by some sort of human name. He was a human fella. Kind of had these big shoulders, large metal armor, kind of like yours. Kind of gray-black hair, you know, kind of getting to that age where he starts to show a few bit of whites, but, you know, didn't really want to admit it. Kind of that salt and pepper look on his face. He's got the big bushy eyebrows, deep brown eyes. He's charming, if a little bit thin under that armor. Hadn't eaten after all. Well, and,
I see.
It's been a while, so I couldn't tell you if there were any symbols or language on his armor. That might be helpful, but I don't quite remember that.
I would like to purchase this journal from you. How much do you want for it?
Are you looking for trade or coin?
We have some knickknacks that we could exchange for it, or we could give you coins if you prefer.
Well, that's not what I prefer. It's all up to you, really. Doesn't matter to me. I get plenty of people through here that are looking for both. If you've got things that you want to try for trade, you can certainly offer them, and if I take an interest in it, then we can make a deal. But as for coin, though, for a journal like this, I'd say it's appropriate for a gold piece.
Alright, I could offer you 2 Dwarven copper steins, if you prefer. Interesting cups that we found from an ancient brewery that we uncovered. Or you could have the coin.
Can I see them?
Sure.
And you only got 2 of them?
Yep, we have We have a pair of these. They were rather interesting.
You're the only 2 in existence. Come on, you gotta sell this.
She kind of looks over and kind of runs a finger along the engravings. You know, I like these. These are pretty nice. I'll trade you the mugs for the journal.
Cool. We've got a deal.
She gives you a hefty shake and begins to scribble down in her notebook. Wonderful. Is there anything else that I can help you all with? And Zarn and Bootlick kind of put their things slowly away and just kind of like shake their head.
Alright, I updated party loot, guys. I got rid of our 2 cups, and there's now a journal in a language we don't know. Just in case there's something important in it. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And if you know of anybody who deals in the ancient or in runic work, or you see any yourself, please reach out. And my name is Elias, and I'm down here to try and figure out more.
Elias. Okay, I can do that. I can keep an eye out. Where should I send word to?
So, if you can get a message to the surface, I will come back down, no matter where I am in the world. If you have found anything supremely runic or ancient, it would definitely be worth a trip for me. And I will tell her an address associated with the main monastery of the 3 faces.
Gotcha. So yeah, she'll quickly kind of jot down the best she can. Well, I can't make any promises, but sometimes adventurers come through here on their way back up to the surface, so I can see what I can do. I'll definitely keep an eye out.
I'll be down here for a while, so I might drop back in or have somebody else drop in and see if you've gotten any word before I move on.
Wonderful. We always like to have people come back through.
And what was her name? I'm gonna mark her in as another acquaintance here.
Her name was Crystalline, and you should be able to see that now.
Crystalline the gnome?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
And then are you guys making your way back towards the tavern as well?
Yep. It's been about an hour. I've let them be.
Alright. And as you all make it back, you do indeed see Valcrie sitting behind the bar.
Do we all make it back?
Well, all of that group anyway. But you do not see Ari anywhere nearby.
It be what it be.
He's making his way downtown.
Making my way.
I don't get it.
Oh, he's down under? He's down under Joe.
It's an oral sex joke, Joe.
Oh,
I understand that you're married, so you probably haven't experienced this in a while.
Wow. Glad that Sam isn't on for that one.
Yeah, she would be gagging. Dead.
Well, I thought Sam was his roommate.
That's true.
Exactly.
Right.
She should be here in like 15 minutes.
Oh, well, we'll probably be wrapping up right about that time, but that's good.
Strategic.
But yes, you guys do.
Anyway.
Sam missed the banger.
Oh goodness. You guys do make it back to the tavern, which is still plentiful with people engaging in various activities. Is there anything else you all would like to do, or would you like to just head towards the location that Quietude points out to Valcrie?
I am hoping that the good night's sleep revives our ranger.
Yeah, I'm
And,
thinking
if
10.
not, I will start trying other things.
I should be clear. After the hour, she is back to normal. During that hour.
Good. That was
excellent.
That was what I was working on next.
Like, yeah, a good night's sleep should probably fix that, right? Please.
No.
Yeah,
Excellent.
over the course of that hour, she slowly got her feeling back and was able to move and adjust, and eventually chose to sit rather than being forced to lay upon the wolf.
Excellent.
Until the wolf was comfy.
I mean, it's better than the ground.
Yeah, so let's get lodging for the night, and do you have the weird warlock ability to like read all kinds of languages and shit?
I can in the morning.
Perfect.
That's the spirit.
I will show you what I acquired, what I found. So yeah, let's get a good night's sleep, and then maybe see if that was important or if it's just like random words and ramblings. So yeah, I will hand you the book so you can read it the next time you're able to read books.
So let me see. So I'm trying to remember which thing that falls under. I thought it was something I had. I could have been a dumb, and it might be on a level up I can do it. Let me see.
So there is a
It's as the Rune Keeper. It's the invocation.
Mm-hmm. Do you have that
I can
invocation?
Get the next level. Not right now, unless you let me. Just casually switch it out.
Did you get a new one when you leveled up? Because you get new invocations every so often.
I don't have an additional one yet.
Okay.
The additional comes from the next level. Oh wait, hold on.
Actually,
I have 3.
So
I still have 3. I think. What'd I do? Let me see.
I'm gonna. We'll say this. So because of the circumstances, as Elias, as you hand this over to Valcrie, you look at it at first, and it's not familiar to you. You can't make out the letters, but then suddenly, almost you kind of blink a few times, and they kind of shift, and you realize, wait, this looks a lot like Infernal. And slowly, as you begin to focus,
I can fucking read that.
Yeah, as you begin to focus and look at it further, the words start to appear to you, and you start to be able to read through this. And Elias, you kind of watching her, you can see these kind of trickles of what almost look to be like this dark grayish black, maybe magic, just kind of emanating from the corners of her eyes as she's looking over, these kind of shadows that just catch out of her eyes as she begins to read through this.
Nope.
And I don't have all of this on hand, but for a high level, and I can get you some more details later. But on a high level, the section that Valcrie is reading through does begin to go through kind of aspects of part of Undermountain. And so, Valcrie, go ahead and roll me a d20.
Is this something that could be guided?
No. It won't matter for that.
Straight up, it's a d20.
Yep.
We got a 16.
Where is my thingamajigger? Oh, it's probably after this, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay. So as you begin to read through this section, the words kind of slowly forming. You can see it talking about conflicts in some sort of city called that's the actual city. I need the city here. 1 second. Zarusk. You see them talking about conflicts in the city of Zarusk that have left the Draknuyr weakened and exposed. Many houses fearing the future, and that these Drow are fleeing summon droves to Undermountain to carve out sanctuaries here. There's a small portion that talks about how Hallister can't be happy to see them return in force, but who knows, maybe Mad Mage orchestrated the upheaval to bring the Dark Elves scurrying back for reasons beyond the comprehension of the sane. And it continues to talk more about some of these Drow and what they have come to do here. But you have revealed a secret.
The Dark Elf Menace.
Interesting.
Yeah. That card basically says what I just told you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But yes, this portion of the journal, and there's more in here, but at least in this brief bit that you read to Elias tonight, goes over some of the Drow and what they've been doing in Undermountain, at least in recent events for whenever this journal was written.
Pretty neat.
Alright, so are you guys all headed to get some rest?
Yes.
Bedtime.
Alrighty. So, Quietude leads you to a far corner of the city, where you all have a small space, and it doesn't appear to really have many furnishings, but you all, I believe, do have bedrolls with you.
Yes.
I'm in the tiny butt.
Not everybody gets to bed like
really
I
Is that really that small a butt?
I believe that's what your spell says.
But you're not in the tiny butt. You're in the large butt.
Well, that's not my problem.
Wait, where'd you send us?
Over here.
I was like, I don't know, I can't see you at all.
No, I just see big blackness. Hold on.
You should be able
Yeah,
to see.
no.
The dynamic
Here we
lighting
go.
works, so I can see the little room
Ooh.
I'm in.
Hold on. Okay, finally found it.
Yeah, it's a very small room down to the south. But yeah, you guys are left to your own devices, and if you'd like, can take a long rest.
Yeah. I will tiny hut us though, in case something bad happens, just because I have the slot.
Might as well.
Yep. So yeah, we'll tiny butt just to be safe.
All right. So you pull the tiny hut around, and it does keep a bit of the chill of the night out, but for most of it, it's just a precautionary measure. And you all find that your night goes without any sort of unexpected events. Eventually, Zannah de-transforming from her wolf form and back to her elven form. In the meantime, Ari, you spend the evening, a very energetic evening that leaves you quite winded, but you get a good game from Elvira, who is quite cheery with herself, and a wonderful night's sleep in an actual bed.
Oh yes.
As you awaken in the morning, you find that Elvira is not in the bed with you, but has made it back to her shop, and so you are left alone in this a small house not too far away, but it seems that the door is left unlocked. And there's a small bit of breakfast on a small stove waiting for you.
Oh hell yeah! What a time to be alive! I would like to sample the breakfast.
It's nothing extravagant, but compared to the stuff that you've been eating since you got down into the Undermountain, it's pretty solid. I know you.
Interestingly, I have less HP now than I did before the sleep. Because temp HP
And the aid wore off if you had that counted in there.
So that's HP in the aid, and so now I'm less healthy. But that sometimes happens.
But you've got your smite slots back, which is cool.
I do, and I have my lay on hands back, which is huge, as they say.
Huge.
Huge. Excellent. Well, that's lovely. I suppose Ari now wonders what happened to the rest of his poor party. So he kind of looks around, but I assume it's still like dark outside because we're always underground.
Yes, it is always dark.
Just eating by sword light, I assume.
There's a little bit of light. There's like some torches and some firelight within the house, or if you can even call this a house. But this area where you're in, this kind of home area, that lights it, but it is still fairly dark. There aren't any like windows or anything on this place.
Ooh. I'm gonna be polite and leave one of my golden wine bottles.
Ooh.
Oh.
So now I only have 4 of them. What?
That way you can get the return booty call.
Oh, I thought you said 3rd, and that's why I was confused. I was like, wait, when we're 2? What? Wait, what? Okay.
Oh no, Ari, be more observant.
Tracking.
It was an intense night. It counts as 2.
Oh, okay. Didn't even have me roll the con saves. Wow.
Hey, I'll let you. I'm not gonna rain on your parade. I'll let you imagine how well you performed.
Okay.
Words can't describe it, but dice rolls can. 1 out of 20.
That's the spirit, Joe. Oh. Well, cool. So, wine and note of thanks for the lovely breakfast left on the mantelpiece. I am going to go search for the party.
It was a hell of a first kiss, bud.
And are you just wandering the streets, or are you going anywhere to look for them?
Probably go back to the bar where I last saw them.
Okay.
But they're not a subtle bunch, so I don't know. I don't really imagine having a hard time running into them.
That's probably fair. In the meantime, as the rest of you all wake up, what were you intending to do?
Not eating a home-cooked breakfast out of a bed, bitches.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
First, let me get some health.
I suppose we have to
Okay, I'm at max health.
go find our second favorite DPS.
Oh, hold on. Dope.
What?
All my staff charges are back.
Hell yeah.
And
So yeah,
we'll
we'll go search for our paladin.
Well, presumably we know where they went, as long as they're near the shop. Unless they went somewhere else.
Yeah, you guys quickly kind of head back to the rough area where you were and meet up with Ari wandering the streets outside of the bar. And you can already hear some...
walk.
So you made it through the night. Good job.
Good to see you guys. You sleep well?
Quite.
Yeah.
good to hear.
Did you manage to get any rest?
Slept great. Yeah, so it's lovely.
I found something, and Valcrie took care of some stuff, and Zella's awake again. That's cool.
Oh, that's great. I was kind of worried about that, but didn't really think I could do much. Sorry about that, Zella.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm sorry. Was that Joe being Sam or Austin being Sam?
That was me.
That's beautiful.
That's sad. Oh gosh.
I'm not sure mine would have been much better.
Oh man.
Artful role playing, Joe.
I am very versatile.
Just Sam voice. It sounded rather like my grandmother.
I'm just impressed I could get my vocal cords to do that. Like,
I bet they would protest if you did it more than once or twice.
Oh yeah, it fucking hurt.
Hey, you gotta suffer. Man. You gotta suffer for art sometimes.
Like,
that is true.
God.
I could be like the background vocalist of like a screamo band with no ill effects. And I try and make that like tight vocal sound to like heighten my pitch. Kicks
the
my
falsetto.
fucking ass. Yeah.
Well, that's lovely. Glad everyone was able to sleep off their various ailments.
Yeah, we
What were we doing for the goblins again? I feel like we had something we were supposed to be working on.
Find a thing.
The hobgoblins? Why you came here?
Yeah, we were doing something to help them, but IRL, it's been like 3 weeks and I've totally forgotten.
Yeah.
We are searching for a dagger that was.
That's right.
It's
yeah.
how Azrog can see, because he's blind, right?
That's right. What if I just teach him how to have blind sight fighting?
Well, you can try.
Technically, I don't know how to do that either, but I'm sure it would work great.
I mean, you don't have to know how to do it to teach someone how to do it.
Austin, will you remind us, did we have any leads to go on here of where to start looking?
So Lurkanos had said that she knew that there were Duergar from Clan Iron Eye that were the thieves, and believed that they had headed back towards Skullport. But those are the only things that you know.
Do we want to ask Valcrie's new special friend about that? Seems like
where that clan hangs out.
The barkeep would probably know the rumor mill better.
I would.
That or the chick you slept with probably would help us as well.
Why not both?
Like I think we've made 2 potential contacts.
I'm just saying,
tell us
I
discreetly.
Think on average, the barkeep is more likely to hear the gossip than the pet shop owner, but I'm totally down to ask.
But the pet shop owner seems to hang around the bar because they're neighbors, so you know.
It's true. Like I said, I'm not opposed to asking. You know, we can split the party again if you guys want.
If you fucked well enough, she'll probably tell us.
Well, let's see.
100% based on your abilities.
Hey, is it con or charisma?
It's performance, I thought.
Oh, it's performance?
On how well you did?
Yeah. Which skill are we using?
Sure, we could go with performance.
Okay, we're fine.
Not bad. That was an amicable sex. Good for you.
All I'm saying is that the existence of casual sex implies the existence of ranked competitive sex.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not gonna
How
judge.
does one compete?
It's a joke, Joe.
I see.
do you? do you?
Perhaps not.
Well, since we're near the pet store, and Ari likes to mess with people, I'm going to ask the frogs to, telepathy. I'm gonna telepathically ask the frogs to, start croaking for, apparently no reason. Because I think it would be funny.
Sorry, you're gonna ask the frogs in the pet store?
Yeah, the frog. Yep.
Oh,
telepathically.
And you're gonna ask them what?
To just start ribbiting really loudly.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an. Go and roll me a persuasion check, I guess.
Is it persuasion or animal handling?
That's what I was.
Persuasion.
That's what I was kind of going at, but I think in this instance it would in fact be persuasion.
All right. What does a 23 get us as far as ribbiting goes?
There's kind of like a pause, but then you do hear a couple ribbits, and then they get louder and louder, and you can hear that there must be a good half dozen of them just loudly ribbiting inside.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be my entrance to go ask about the Durgar and the stolen magical dagger. So
all we
are
want
welcome.
to know is Clan Iron Eye. Don't give up too much.
You know me. I'm very subtle.
Oh, good.
Narrator. Ari was not going to be subtle. Well, let's see. We'll roll that wisdom save again. Oh, Ari will be subtle. All right, Ari will be the most subtle. Shit.
I'm rubbing off on you, bud.
Apparently. You're not the only one. Hey.
Got him.
All right. So I'd like to enter to the cacophony of frogs.
There is.
Y'all can come too. I don't know what y'all are planning on doing.
Are you guys going into the small pet store?
Yeah,
or you guys
I'll go into for sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep, I'll come into.
So you kind of
follow.
Yeah.
Or at least be by the door.
You go into a large cacophony of frog ribbits as Ari walks in, and Uvira kind of looks over and smiles. Oh, Ari, good to see you again. Was there something I could help you with? Anything wrong with the house?
No, that's all good. My friends and I here were wondering about the business we actually came here on, and do you know anything about the Durgar around here?
Durgar, I know that there is a fairly popular spot they like to drink, known as the Black Tankard. I did see quite a few of them that passed through maybe a few weeks, maybe a month ago. A good 30, 40 of them traveling in a group. Typically there are quite a few that stay on the island, but never come in that large of a group. I think Das keeps them pretty tightly, so to see that many was a bit unusual. They stayed and drank for a little while before heading deeper into Undermountain.
I'm doing a dumb. How long ago was that dagger stolen? That wouldn't have been a month ago, right?
I probably would have been roughly around that.
Okay, so there's a potential that could... Yeah, it's like that seems plausible, but it's like I didn't remember the timeline we were given.
I mean, honestly, I just am trusting Austin to help us out here because I can't remember things from 5 minutes ago, much less 3 weeks.
No, I feel that.
And he has a book.
Yeah, you guys weren't really given a timeline by
Okay.
Lurkana, but that seems logical based on what you know.
Okay. That's kind of what I was picking up, but I also don't want to fight 40 Durgar, TBH.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to be creative problem solvers, on that one.
So you said they went deeper into Undermountain.
Yes.
How does one easily get deeper from here? Is there a good path down?
Quite a few. Let's see. There are a few different passages that you can take. One of them... most of them lead back to the third level, where the Sargoth River cuts through. But there are a few others that go deeper. Let's see. Well, it's connected to the River Sargoth itself. Then there's Beggar's Rest Pass, Shadow Pass, Steamfall Pass, Helghast Gap, and Whisperhaunt Pass.
And, do you happen to know which path they took, or, potentially know who might?
Well, to be honest, I only knew that they were headed deeper. I don't know which of those they took, but ultimately all of them lead towards the same direction. Everything just goes lower. If I were you, I would start at the highest one and begin to work your way lower. That way you don't miss them. You could try and inquire at the Black Tankard, but honestly, June is not very likely to give you any sort of information unless you are a Durgar yourself.
That makes sense. Thank you. Which one was the highest one, did she say?
I thought I didn't have enough spells, and I have 2 fewer spells than I'm supposed to have prepared, so now I feel like the big dumb. Alright.
Steamfall Pass will take you back towards the Sargoth level, as will Toglass Gap, and then Beggar's Rest Fall will take you to the 4th level of Undermountain. Shadow Pass, I believe. I don't know where that comes out, but I think it's deeper.
Alright, and so they went deeper, so we're going to try Beggar's Pass, I think, then? Beggar's Rest, is that what that was called?
If you've come from the 3rd level, then that would make sense.
Yep. We were at the river. We got here from some creepy like ferry boat captain, actually.
Ah, yes, the boatman. It is a bit unsettling, isn't it?
It was interesting, but yeah, it was slightly off-putting. Being shot while this creepy like ferryman just kind of stood there was somewhat strange.
Well, it happens when you make deals with the undead, I suppose.
Yeah. So, yeah, what is the most efficient way to that pass to go down to the 4th level?
It's just north of here, actually. Northwest. And she kind of points to the corner of her shop. It's the closest passage to us. If you just take the street to the west and then head slightly to the north, it should be fairly easy to catch.
Excellent. Thank you so very much for your help. Did you happen to get those sabers sold already?
No, but I do think I have someone who would be interested. I've sent them a letter to meet me here later today, but I don't know what time they'll be by.
I suppose we will wait until the day is done, and if not, are you still willing to do business on our behalf if we move on?
Of course. You're always welcome to come back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we might as well hover for the day.
Look forward to the next meeting.
Indeed.
Winks, slides out.
So yeah, I think we'll be in the tavern for the day to see if we can let you conduct that business, and we don't have to come back and trouble you.
Certainly. Well,
So, yeah.
best of luck to you all.
Thank you to you as well. You've been most kind. Ari was getting a little bit insufferable. Thank you.
I'm going to elbow him very hard. I'd like to roll an unarmed strike.
That elicits a chuckle.
Might I have inspiration to beat up my party member?
If you've got a point of inspiration and want to use it, you can.
I do not. That's why I need it.
No.
It's what my character would really want to work out.
Ooh, though that is a good point. I would like to give. Well, you know what? Unrelated, but if you want to use it for this, you can. But Elias, Ari, and Valcrie will all get a point of inspiration for some of the RP throughout the session.
You know what? I'm gonna use it for this because I really want the elbow to hurt him.
All right, go and roll me a strength check.
Can I be proficient with my elbow?
No.
You've got to use it a lot.
It was worth a try.
I don't think 16 hits through the armor class to do any actual damage, but there is a large kind of doom as you hit the center of his breastplate. Darn heavy armor.
That's a big teehee.
Yeah, no, for the rest of the day, the aura of protection does not help Elias. If he gets drow poison, he gets drow poison. Nothing I can do, you know?
Just how it happens.
It be like that.
It do.
So yeah, we'll carouse for the day and see if we walk away with a couple thousand coins.
That'd be neat.
Before we make our way deeper. Is there anything else anybody needed to do in this city? Did you all accomplish whatever your personal missions were? Is carousing acceptable?
Do y'all wanna try to find the Durgar via boat?
I'm currently giving the barkeep some time to get some information, but it sounds like she has other means of messaging me. Should we leave?
Also, one point of note, the river goes up, or I guess, not necessarily up, but goes, as far as levels of Undermountain, it goes up towards the surface. Not
deeper?
Down, yeah, not deeper.
Okay.
The Sargoth level is the deepest it goes.
So we could get to the surface via boat if we're fucked one day.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, I think honestly, I don't think the elf was lying. So we should probably go deeper on behalf of looking for this dagger, and we need to go deeper anyway because that's just kind of what we do.
Ari is a going deeper enthusiast.
Yeah, we've got some random inclination just always driving us to go deeper down into this dungeon to always get stronger. So
Dig deeper, y'all.
Miners do that, right?
Miners do.
What?
So that's something
their
that
school's motto.
Yeah, S&T would always say miners dig deeper because we are the miners, and it's cringy, all right.
Embracing the cringe is
a choice.
Important. It's important to do.
So yeah, let's spend the day hanging out. Hope we get a payday, and if not, head out in the morning.
All right.
Work for you all?
Yep.
Cool. All right, squad. Let's drink.
We do that.
All right, for anybody who is drinking, go ahead and roll me a Constitution save.
Only if quietude makes it.
Quietude makes all the drinks.
Well, that was 15.
It's a 19.
Yeah,
It's a 19?
I did okay.
Did you aura it?
Or it happens automatically.
You are, yeah.
Oh, okay. Apparently I drink well with you.
I'm assuming you guys are all staying relatively close to each other.
Probably.
Drinks well with others.
Apparently.
Ari knows what he's about.
Well, now you can call Valcrie a liar for not being a drinker because she's drinking in front of you.
Ari's in a good mood. He's just really not trying to start a
Not
fight.
confrontational.
He's having a good time. Why start a fight when you could just drink?
That's fair.
That's really the young sailor's motto. But if someone else starts a fight while you're drinking, you better win.
Of course.
Exactly.
100%.
The group in here, there is one group that seems to be engaging in a fist fight, but it seems to be more friendly and
Fisticuffs?
competitive.
May we join?
I mean, you could inquire. You see a bugbear and a humanoid, a rough-looking humanoid, exchanging blows to a kind of jeers from a table nearby.
Bet some money on me. Easy cash.
Yeah.
Do you want to try? You see that
Yeah.
the bugbear kind of gets the better of the human, who gets kind of knocked out and kind of has to have some water splashed on his face.
Bugbears are in fact my nemesis.
Yeah, you kind of go over, and this one kind of squares up to you, and you see a few of them are kind of wrapping, a few of the goblins kind of wrap bandages around, and he looks at you. What do you want?
Sorry, one moment.
He's pushing up his sleeves.
Wait, no. The rules say you're proficient with unarmed strikes, so my elbow shouldn't have been a 16. It should have been a 19.
That's not any
Yeah,
better.
I don't think 19 hits either. But wait, it says you're proficient with unarmed strikes. Where?
Yeah, it melee attacks in the SRD. It says you are proficient with your unarmed strikes.
Where does it say that? Can you let me know so I can take a look? Because I'm
here it's so if you go to the Roll20 compendium for 5e combat, melee attacks in the last paragraph, it says instead of using a weapon to make a melee attack, you can use an unarmed strike, a punch, kick, headbutt, or similar forceful blow, none of which count as weapons. On a hit, an unarmed strike deals bludgeoning damage equal to 1 plus your strength modifier. You are proficient with your unarmed strikes.
Let me see. Where is this? Oh, I guess they differentiate unarmed strikes with improvised weapons then.
Yeah, improvised weapons you have to have like a similar weapon proficiency to be proficient, but they do more damage. But unarmed strikes you are proficient.
Okay, sounds good.
In any case, I would like to engage in fisticuffs for money.
So yeah, this bugbear kind of looks you up and down. I'll put 2 silver. I could knock you on your ass.
I'll match that. I would like to pull 2 silver out of my sock full of silver coins. Which I still have, by the way.
And a sock full of silver coins.
You know, it's an important anti-vampire technique.
I mean, that's...
Or werewolf. It's a werewolf or vampire. I guess it could be both, I don't know. Ari's a little fuzzy on these things, and so am I.
You never know. But as you kind of put this silver on the table, he immediately just swings out at you right away, just kind of throwing a fist in your direction. Go ahead and roll me a strength saving throw. Okay. As you get slammed in the chest by this bugbear, you are going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage plus 8 more points of bludgeoning damage. And you're technically in heavy armor, so you'll just take 8 bludgeoning damage as he slams into your chest and just upends you, and you drop back down on your butt, and he takes the silver off the table and sticks it in his pouch and just kind of smiles at you.
I am to believe that was a cheap shot.
We didn't specify no rules. I said I could knock you on your ass. Look where you are, bud.
Well, I suppose you might as well join me, and I would like to kick him.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength check with proficiency.
Wow, it's not a good day for that.
Yeah, you swing out, and it kind of catches, but kind of slides off of his leg, and he just kind of laughs and kind of takes a step back in more of a defensive pose. You want to go another round? It's going to cost you more than that. What you got? And now you see the other kind of goblins and bugbears kind of looking down at you, ready to hop in if you try to start a fight without a price.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the combat mechanics you're using are, so I don't know how unfavorable they are for me.
That seemed to just be a cheap shot.
In other words, I'm very confident that in a normally ruled fight, I would just murder this bugbear with my fist. But I do not understand how that corresponds to whatever mini game we're playing.
So the initial one was just a cheap shot, and then the bugbears have a special thing if they get a surprise attack, which is why it did actual damage. But theoretically, it would probably be more straightforward from here.
Interesting. Well, sure. I'll put in 2 more silver.
You see as the bugbear kind of gives you a hand up to your feet and then kind of raises his fists. And go ahead and give me an initiative roll.
I know where that button is. Oh, I didn't click my token. That's okay. You know what happened.
Ooh, and you do get the jump on him. So it is your turn.
No, my first roll was a 12.
Oh, gotcha. Never mind.
Your local honest paladin here.
Okay. So I think this will be +2. Okay. Alrighty. And what is your AC currently? Is it at a 20?
It would only be 18, because I assume I'm not using a shield, because that doesn't really make sense in a fist fight.
Yeah, I don't think it would. And in that case, this does just hit. If I can get this. There we go. Okay. And so he gets a first initial hit off on you, and that will do 4 points of bludgeoning damage. And
alright,
reduce
1
down
point
to
of
1.
bludgeoning damage.
So he kind of takes just a jab to your side, and most of it is absorbed by your armor, but a little bit makes it through, and you feel a little bit of a bruise.
Okay, I would like to give him the old 1-2.
Go for it.
Do,
Both of those will hit.
20 hit.
Yes, they
All
will.
Right, That's gonna be 4 damage on each, so 8 bludgeoning.
Alright. And you give 2 hefty punches to the side of his face, and the first one knocks a tooth out, and the second one you can see blood kind of pump out from his nose as he kind of gets shaken and steps back. But he will try and swing back in again as he rushes forward. Yeah, let's see. Whew, yeah, he's getting in the hits at least, making it interesting. So this time he'll swing in and do another 4 as he just cracks you along the jaw, and you can feel another bruise light up to the side of your face. He'll only take 1 point of damage.
All right, we'll give him the old rope-a-dope again. 11 probably misses, but I assume 23 still hits.
Yeah, you swing over his head as he ducks down low, but your second one, an uppercut to his chin, does hit, and another 4.
Yep. I'm just a lot faster than him. What can I say?
You are indeed. But yeah, you knock his head backwards, and he kind of spins for a moment, kind of shakes his head, and kind of lifts his fists together and brings them down hard, trying to swing them down on you. But this time you get enough of kind of seeing this come towards in your direction. You roll out of the way, and he just whiffs at the air. You can go ahead and give 2 more strikes.
Okay. So I'm gonna do one punch here, which hits.
Yep.
And after I punch him, I'm going to try to grapple him.
Ooh, okay.
Which is a contested check, which I got a 21 for.
Ooh, he did well. So yeah, you give 1 punch just to the side of his temple to sort of daze him, and you wrap an arm around, trying to grab on and hold him tight, and you can feel him struggling. He has immense strength, but the daze was just what you needed, and you kind of get him into a headlock. And from here, yeah.
Who's your daddy? I'm gonna give him a noogie.
You do indeed. He tries to swing out wildly this time, but just kind of flutters his hands around and loses his footing and kind of drops down very meekly. And with that, he kind of looks up and is like, I yield, I yield.
Okay.
And well, alright, it's your turn if you wanna.
He's yielded. I'll be taking my money back, and now I guess we can go drink.
He tosses the coins back to you, and you watch as the goblins rush forward and begin to kind of put a cloth up to his bloody nose and try and patch him up a little bit, as he looks pretty worse for wear and clearly did not know what he was getting himself into. But then you rejoin your friends for some more drinks, and you'll have a good time. Eventually,
is that a net no silver transfer, or do I get my winnings from his ill-gotten sucker punch?
Unfortunately, that was only a net 0 change, because you only bet 2 on the second one. But yes,
that's fine. I'm just making sure I was tracking accurately with my important sock.
Yep. And eventually, Uvira does come for you, Elias, and kind of taps you on the shoulder and kind of motions, and she brings you back to her shop, and sitting in one of the chairs there is a man with, you can see from behind, he's cloaked in a dark green but vibrant cloak pulled up over his head. And you can see from the way that the cloak is positioned that he is armed with 2 blades of his own. And down at his feet, surprisingly to you, is a creature. A long, black-coated panther. Would you come in, and Elvira kind of motions you to take a seat. Elias, do you have the sabers with you?
I do.
Wonderful. Could you please present them?
I take them out, and I set them together as a pair gently.
As you set them out, you see 2 hands reach forward to begin to look over and inspect, and you can see now that you're sitting close by that this is a male figure who does appear to be of dark elf descent himself. You can see his long, whitish silver hair kind of falling about his face, and he looks over the two sabers and kind of gives a smile and a nod.
And what price are you trying to get for these?
I have a fairly good understanding, I think, of what they're worth. I think out of character I nat 20 that, and you said it was like 20 whatever 100?
Mm-hmm.
Was that right?
Yep.
And I know they're worth between 2,000 and 3,000 gold pieces for the matched set. I also know that I don't particularly care or have much use for them. So in your court, what are they worth to you?
Well, you said between 2,000 and 3,000. I'm assuming you mean dragons. Why don't we split the difference? I have 250 platinum on me right now that you can have it. It'll be yours if you give me the sabers.
Perfect.
He hands you over a pretty substantial pouch and just puts it in front of you.
Would you like to
Thank you.
count it, or do you take me at my word?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care if you've actually put 250 in, because that's better than me lugging around swords for months on end. I'm I'm happy with whatever you were willing to give. Have a most wonderful day.
Fair enough. You as well.
Have a most wonderful day.
It's
I
much
love
easier to carry around a bag of money than 2 large swords.
You have a point.
And to you, Elvira, right?
Elvira, yes.
You wanted 10%, you said, or what did you want?
Yes, 10%.
All right, I will hand her 25 platy dams, and we'll throw 225 into our party.
We do love a platy dam.
And she kind of smiles.
Was there 250? Were we cheated?
Yes, there was 250.
All right, so we add 225 to what we have.
Yep.
225 plus 139. 325, 355, 364 platy dams, boys.
Platy dams. We fucking love platy dams. I'm just saying.
Dope.
Like there is no joy in life greater than the platy dam.
And as you kind of conclude your business, the man kind of stands up, pulling the cloak back to reveal dark black leather armor, and he kind of smiles.
Always a pleasure, Elvira.
She looks back.
Indeed. You know I always like when Guinevere and you show up.
She scratches the panther on its head, and the two figures depart out into the darkness. And with that, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and call it for the evening, and we will pick up with you all heading into the 4th level of Undermountain, which means that you all do indeed get a new level up. Actually, did we level up before Skull?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
No, we did not.
Yeah,
we
so
were trying to tell you we did, but we didn't.
That's what I thought, yeah. So yes,
Yeah.
We
you
were,
all,
as the kids say, messing with you.
you all should be level 8 now, if I remember right.
We are 6 right now.
We are level 6 right now.
We'll be level 7.
Oh yeah, because you guys are level behind. Duh. Yep.
Yep.
Level. Okay, sounds good. So yeah, you guys can have that ready. And if there's anything that you guys wanted to look to purchase, I know that Valcrie, you had looked into the poisons. If anyone else wants to inquire, there are a few shops around. We can handle that offline through the next week. And we'll start next week with our descent into level 4. Thanks as always for anyone who tuned in, and we'll see you next time.
Is there a magic item shop?